Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, with the February 15, 2021 Monday, Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University would like to launch the chat and talk about quality assurance for e-learning and learning management system. My name is Dr. Ahmed Al-Kuwaiti. I am the Supervisor General for the Deanship of Quality and Academic Accreditation for Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal. I would like to thank His Excellency Professor Abdullah Rubeish, and this webinar series, which is we have it monthly for the last 4 months, as a matter of fact, under the auspices of His Excellency, is proud to announce this webinar for the enhancement of equality skills. Next, please.
تمر جامعة الإمام عبد الرحمن بن فيصل بمرحلة ارتفعت فيها التوقعات، حيث يسهم التعليم في تقدم الأمم، ولذا تنطلق جامعتنا من رؤيتها الاستراتيجية جامعة رائدة تسعى إلى التميز محلياً وإقليمياً وعالمياً، وتهدف إلى تحقيق رسالتها على الوجه الأكمل في تقديم خدمات معرفية وبحثية ومهنية إبداعية بشراكة مجتمعية فاعلة، ومن خلال قيمها الأصيلة وعلى مدى تاريخنا العريق منذ أن تأسست عام 1975 ميلادي فرعاً من جامعة الملك فيصل بمدينة الدمام، مروراً بصدور القرار السامي لتحويلها إلى جامعة مستقلة عام 2009 تحت اسم جامعة الدمام، ثم انفصال جامعة حفر الباطن من رحم جامعة الدمام في عام 2014، وأخيراً بتشريفها بمسمى جامعة الإمام عبد الرحمن بن فيصل في عام 2016. كما تميزت الجامعة بالحصول على العديد من الاعتمادات المحلية والعالمية على مدى السنوات الماضية، ونحن فخورون بهذا الإنجاز، والذي بني على خطط استراتيجية تجسد اختيارنا لنموذج الجامعة الشاملة أداة لتحقيق رسالتنا في خدمة الوطن عموماً والمنطقة الشرقية على وجه الخصوص. وينتشر منسوبون في 6 مواقع في المنطقة الشرقية، ويبلغ عدد موظفينا نحو 8000 موظف ما بين أعضاء هيئة التدريس والكادر الإداري والطبي. كما يدرس في الجامعة ما مجموعه 35,000 من الطلبة، ينتشرون في 19 كلية و85 برنامجا ضمن 4 قطاعات طبية وهندسية وإدارية علمية وإنسانية ومصنفة كالتالي: المسار الصحي، كلية الطب، كلية طب الأسنان، كلية الصيدلة الإكلينيكية، كلية العلوم الطبية التطبيقية بالدمام، كلية التمريض، كلية الصحة العامة، كلية العلوم الطبية التطبيقية بالجبيل. المسار الهندسي، كلية الهندسة، كلية العمارة والتخطيط، كلية التصاميم. المسار العلمي، كلية علوم الحاسب وتقنية المعلومات، كلية إدارة الأعمال، كلية العلوم، كلية العلوم والدراسات الإنسانية بالجبيل، المسار الإنساني، كلية الآداب، كلية التربية، كلية العلوم والدراسات الإنسانية بالجبيل، كليات لا تتبع السنة التحضيرية، كلية الدراسات التطبيقية وخدمة المجتمع، كلية الشريعة والقانون، وكلية المجتمع.
This is where we are in Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal. We are proud of this university, and I think we have a lot to say. Just to mention this webinar series about initiative of we call it Jasur initiative, which is the reason for Jasur is to make or to accelerate the process of improving ranking of IU. And the initial program this established, and the aim of it, which is initiate the program to improve our university ranking academic, and also the part of it will be monthly Zoom webinar as we have. I think we have hundreds of participants every month with us, and I think we will still continue to provide the good education and the good speaker to provide highly excellent academic information and solution for the academic issues. Let me just go in very short introduction about our workshop, about our webinar today. Let me just introduce, making such introduction to the e-learning. As we know, we are in COVID-19 issues going on. Still, we are away from the classroom. And the issue of today is the e-learning. And the e-learning, as a matter of fact, is the delivery of learning and training through digital resources such as LMS, which is Learning Management System. It could be used in a classroom-based or instructor-led learning or web-based learning or blended learning. LMS is a cloud-based software platform which is empower institutions to provide learning content and resources. Quality assurance, very important, include the systematic review of educational delivery to improve and sustain the quality and the equity and efficacy. The quality assurance and e-learning process plays a significant role in assisting learners to learn proficiently and effectively. Today, our panel will discuss the following key issue related to quality assurance for e-learning and learning management system. We have two major objectives. How is the quality of online courses assessed, and how do we measure the quality of learning management system? I think those two objectives, what we have, it will be answered by our colleague, which is, we have Dr. Ali Hamdan Al-Blushi from Oman, and we have also Ms. Iman Al-Deeb, which is a UNESCO representative in Middle East and Saudi Arabia. And I think Dr. Ali Hamdan, with his experience in education and academic, he will really address these two objectives, and also the experience of UNESCO within the learning systems within this current times. Our panelists, we have Dr. Ali Hamdan Al-Blushi, was previously the Assistant Dean for Corporate Support at the College of Banking and Finance Studies between 2005-2020. His areas of interest and expertise are international relationship, public administration, and higher education. He has done his bachelor from University of South Carolina, master from American University in Egypt, and doctorate from University of Southampton, UK. His research interest was leadership and equality of a private higher education institution in Oman, and deals with creating an empowering atmosphere. He has proven track record of management and leadership experience at different ministers before joining the college. His recent work focused on positive ways to create better management environment in higher education institution. A book has been indexed in the Sultan Qaboos University Library. Active and varied development program and effectiveness studies, worked with issues concerning quality assurance. He's an external reviewer member approved by Oman Authority for Academic Accreditation and Quality Assurance for Education since 2010. Dr. Ali is also academic lecturer teaching different subjects such as management, human resources, and public administration. Has attended various training courses, seminars, and conferences on management, higher education leadership, human resources management, budgetary control, and quality management. He's a corporate trainer in a leadership, soft skills, negotiating skills, customer relation management, customer service, and behavioral skills. This is our guest, Dr. Ali Hamdan Al-Blushi. We are so proud. IAU so proud of Dr. Ali Hamdan to be with her today. We have also the representative of UNESCO and the project manager, Iman Al-Deeb. We are so proud of Iman. She is a project manager for UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. And as a matter of fact, this is first cooperation with UNESCO, with IAU, and we're really looking forward. UNESCO and their consultant, they are so knowledgeable about, especially the Regional Center for Equality and Excellence in Education. She's specialized in designing curriculum learners with disability and make new theories in education by using technology. Professional researcher and certified in research methodology, certified in a professional development training, working with challenging partners and teachers, MA project management and certified BMB between 2015 and 17, worked in research and using assistive technology to help learners with disabilities for Nova Scotia School Board. This is why we're looking for Dr. Iman Al-Deeb really to have the experience of UNESCO and their project in this area as well. It's the time. I think I speak too much and I introduce a lot. I think people eager to listen to Dr. Ali Hamdan Al-Blushi. The floor is yours, Dr. Ali. Please.
Yeah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed, and my thanks also go to His Excellency, Dr. Abdullah. And inshallah, the university will have the expected ranking ahead, and we will also benefit from your experience. Thank you for having me as one of the panelists to share my experience and my knowledge, and also to learn. My presentation will focus on three main areas. If you could kindly go to the second slide, please. I will have a short introduction on quality assurance for e-learning. Then I will move to the institutional indicators to assure quality learning. And also I will touch on quality of online courses. My source of information are literature review and my experience, modest experience. And beside also, I have requested one of my colleagues to share with a practical environment during COVID and also since a year from now. And he shared with me the last two slides. As we all aware that higher education is one of the key areas of concern, recognized as essential driver leading significantly to the success of countries, social reform, economic reform that contribute to the development of the nations of that country. Higher education also, as we all are aware, it is continuously evolving and seeking to address the demand of a very dynamic force that include teacher, learner, and education institution. Also, the industrial side and the government side are demanding continuously for a new ways of training and also teaching, and they are expecting a lot. So higher education has been influenced by a modern trend in education, the emergence of knowledge society, improvement in society, and globalization, leading to enhanced education and quality improvement. So the transformation of education system and the shift in teaching and learning practices, such as virtual learning and more technological oriented schooling among different type of ICT tools, the learning management system, as Dr. Ahmed mentioned earlier, has been applicable to academic universities and institutions almost 2 decades from now. In order to achieve an efficient learning outcome, the role of learning management system in teaching and learning, access and flexibility, and cost effectiveness in higher education, and integration of learning management system into teaching and learning process are highly recommended for higher education institution. So higher education institutions require integrating the learning management system in their teaching and learning, as we all know, process in order to achieve effective learning outcome. It also allows the user to experience meaningful learning by different learning style, matching individual needs, and also promoting lifelong learning and training. Learning management system has provided easy access and thus promoted flexibility in learning that one can learn from anywhere at any time without a constraint. Also, as we all know that distance learning started on the 19th century, and that also aimed at that time to make more profits. During the 70s or 60s, almost the churches and New York colleges are providing this type of learning. Without going to the history, just briefly, in the 70s, it started also using post, sending materials to students, and asking students also to come to colleges and university to do their final exams. Ending up with the 80s, where TVs and cables and also come in to help the student, beside also sending the material, books and others to other materials to students who are doing a distance learning. In the 90s, the internet stepped in and university using electronic emails, and at the end of early of this century, more toward what they call networking and chatting, and e-learning or distance learning become also one of the college strategies or college approaches to encourage learning that time. There are many important issues as seen for e-learning. One of them is continuous e-learning. People need to be educated. There are also a gap of having more lecturer, and developing country need this type of e-learning. I just look also at the Saudis side. They did start e-learning long back, also in the 70s, and still having this approach strongly. During COVID-19, many countries, Arab countries and European countries, Gulf countries are have no choice except to go on e-learning to avoid any health issues. And many universities really success. And I was surprised that some universities and colleges in Oman, they make profit during e-learning. What is concern us in e-learning or distance learning is the quality of delivery and the designing of the courses. Allow me just to go briefly also in highlighting some facts and some definitions, which you all are aware, but it's just just to go on the topic, as Dr. Ahmed said, quality assurance in higher education. It is not only focusing in what question. Equality of graduates is very important than quantity. And also there is no single measure of quality. And, it has to look at many related matter to assure quality. Second, if we could move, please. A shortcoming, the use of ICT in university require the use range of terminology, the meaning of which are often dependent on the context which they are used. And learning management system are software system, as we already know, designed to support student learning. And we all know that e-learning is the use of ICT to help students to learn, and blended learning is a mix of the two. Move, please. So a question here is, what is the challenge that the university faced to develop students through the use of ICT? It's mainly very basic question, but it is the challenge is how to talk about the topic, how to present the topic in a framework, a good design, an attractive one. So the use of online learning management systems such as Webcat, Blackboard, .learn, it is to support campus-based learning experience, is widely spread internationally phenomena in higher education. Many university very successfully having this distance learning very successful in their program. University in Europe, in America, in Australia, they're using different tools such as .learn, which is an open learning management system, contain a number of information and communication technology to implement student experience in phase that include presentation tools, communication tools, and others. Move, so these are the tools without going in details on we all know them. .learn is a learning management system based on open access. The IMS question and testing interoperability specification defined a standard format for presentation and assessment, and also the other two blocks and weeks. And there are many tools that nowadays are used to make it easy for the student to learn. Move, Doctor, please. So university student learning experience continue to be influenced by the way lecturer integrate information and communication technology into course design. The way lecturer incorporate ICT in course design has direct impact on student learning. I'm not going in further details on course design, which is, most of the lecturer, they having their own ways to do it, and investing in the use of information communication technology make it easier for both university, for both distance learning. Are there any implications for education quality assurance? The answer is yes, because ICT are often used to complement learning experience in which a large amount of face-to-face, so it is sort of, completing each other in a way. Moving to the main of the topic here is the institutional indicators to assure quality learning support. There are 6 of them, and it's not only those indicators, there are many indicators that used to make sure that, to assure the quality of LMS. We will go through them very briefly, and before, if you could move kindly, please. This is the first indicator, and it is mentioned also in the literature, leadership and ongoing funding. This is very important. We already tested distance learning. We already have many students enrolled in university and colleges. So it is very important that university leaders is to be generous and to finance the use of information and communication technology and support, of course, with a balance to the interest of shareholder or university owners, but they have to also give some funds. Policies, systems are very important, and most on all the university and colleges, they have a strategic plan, operation plans, policies. So policies and system has to be very clear and define what is really required and what process to be followed. Third indicator is the evaluation services, evaluation of ICT in learning and campus-based university. Also should focus on the whole learning experience if the evaluation outcome are to related meaningfully to blended experience. Part of this evaluation services need to consider how ICT are used in student learning experience and how they are also used to contribute to the quality of learning outcome. The fourth indicator to assure quality of learning supported by learning management is support for teaching and learning with ICT, and to ensure the quality of learning when ICT are used in learning. The strategy should look at the backup, disaster recovery strategies. Students, they are expecting a lot of things from university. They are not tolerating, failing in the net or in recovery. So that is very important. Testing the compatibility of platform and browser. And here, where we need to have a very strong team in IT to support, having this distance learning moving. Implementing of authentication services for the user of LMS, and also sort of a rapid query resolution process for technical use, sort of like help desk and others. The fifth indicator, before going to the fifth indicator, that the quality assurance issues also involve learning strategy, standards for orientation of student user. We need that a lot, especially in the earlier time, when the COVID started, that we need to prepare the student. We need to do a lot of orientation session, even for families, even for community. There is an issue that, some of the parents, they are not really accepting, having a certificate through distance learning, and even company, they don't. So a lot of sort of assurance that e-learning or distance learning is good as face-to-face class. Query resolution process for learning issues raised by the user, help desk, and other means to help students and also to help the lecturer. Guideline for the typical material that student could expect their subject. Web page also should be valuable for students. Moving, please. So the fifth is supporting for planning, designing, and development with ICT. Integrating ICT into the student learning experience across university require appropriate knowledge and infrastructure. And this go back again to the support of leadership and the IT and the policies. Minimum standard of resourcing, time engaged in designing and developing activities. And this is also very important. What university really management is required to support for the planning, designing, and developing and training of ICT in student learning is potentially continuously, it's not endless. Support for staff designing and continuous development, ensure the resource for training ICT are aligned to the evaluation criteria. And this is very important, that the staff development, update on the new tools are important to have, assure the quality of e-learning. Ensure that evaluation questions are not just about technology, but about how ICT supported resources helping students, and there are many ways to get a feedback from students. Move, please. So the last indicator is the decision to help or redevelop courses with ICT. A lecturer should be able also to access university vision and mission. As Dr. Ahmed earlier said, that also they are heading for ranking, and that also the vision, mission, strategies of university should always on the head of lecturer while they are designing and their courses, while they are delivering their courses. It is also important. These are the indicators that I think the literature touched, and I also, from my experience, they are very good strategic areas where university and colleges should look at in order to move to a quality assurance for distance learning. I borrow really these two slides from a colleague who is a lecturer in one of the college, and I did have his name, and I don't know, I think it's not written here, but I do appreciate his hand on this. In order to have a quality of online courses, these are the areas that they are focusing on to assure that they are delivering quality courses. The technical side, as we see, and the integration accesses and the delivery. If you could move, please, Dr. Ahmed. So we'll look at these issues. Hardware, of course, the ability to use and handle devices with the least sophistication accesses to the class. So the more you have an effective and easy software to use, that will reduce the initial cost of entering online learning and increase also student access. The software single download provided by the vendor platform with no license sometimes cost to the student, ability to be portable and multi-device and platform compatible, such as Android, Linux, and others, ability to capture and register the devices used by the student. The bandwidth provides streaming with a minimum bandwidth requirement, and also the storage either in the cloud or with other mean of storage could be also helpful. This is the technical part. And the integration and access, virtual integration, ability for integrating of attendance, test, formative and summative assessment, and ability to integrate other products like equation editors, plagiarism, and you name it. Easy of access to student, the placement of content, and intuitive manner for accessing the course in contact by student, ability to access the courses offline. Also important, easy of setup by faculty. I have a lecturer after this session, and I was introduced to tools, very easy and very friendly to use, flexibility to upgrade post-chat collaborative work with faculty. And finally is the delivery, and we all know live interaction with the faculty is important, makes the session as effective as face-to-face to the classes, and makes students, it's just like they are in the classes, like to learn and like to interact. Communication with the faculty also through different means, chat, post, self-paced learning, the ability of the course to provide student the facility to learn at their own pace, videos and other things. Customized feedback is very important based on student tracking and progress, and the ability to provide, don't wait to the end of the course to get a feedback. Probably a weekly feedback, be patient with the student is very important. And lastly is regarding LMS, mainly is integration and dashboard. These are the practical side, which I find it very easy and very effectively. To conclude, I think more researches are required for the quality assurance of student learning supported by LMS and their constituent ICT. Lots of emphasis should be on issues of leadership, staff development, and evaluation when setting up the quality assurance system for a blended learning supported by learning management system. Before I end it, I just want to mention that also I raised a question to an expert who's lecturing on businesses during COVID-19, and I asked him, how do you balance? What do you think? To have a to assure quality courses through distance learning and making income or balance the income, especially for private university who are also running the business. And he replied, he said to me, it is just a continuous monitoring and evaluation. And also it's very important to learn from those universities who are very successful, and there are many of them. I have them, but it will take time to name them, especially in America and in Europe. Oxford is one of them. It's a good idea just to learn from them and to cooperate from them, because I think distance learning will continue even if we come back again to face-to-face classes. Thank you very much. This is the end of my talk.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. I really appreciate it. Very wealthy presentation with a lot of information. I just want to remind our audience, if you have a question or inquiry, please send your question through Q&A, okay? Because at the end of the second presentation, we will have the panelists to answer the question or inquiry. I just want to summarize what Dr. Ali, as much as I can. Dr. Ali mentioned the quality assurance in LMS, development of e-learning and distance learning since 1980s, and the experience how the e-learning developed and how Arab countries adapted e-learning, utilized e-learning. LMS should be flexible to allow learning to happen without much difficulty. Dr. Ali mentioned higher education, key focus on the quality of graduates. Mentioned as well, there is no single measure of equality. There is a need to develop our graduates to have the attribution to get employees. One of the shortcomings is the use of ICT required range of technology. I think Dr. Ali mentioned about the institutional indicators to assure quality learning, mentioned the leadership and ongoing funding policy, evaluation of services, support of teaching and learning with ICT, support of planning, design and development, decision to develop or develop to a course with ICT. Lastly, mentioned the quality online course focuses on the three key areas: technical, integration, and delivery. Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. I try to catch up as much as I can. It's very, very really wealthy and rich experience you present. I think it's the time now to listen to our second panelist, Dr. Mr. Iman Al-Theeb, the representative of UNESCO. UNESCO, they have a long experience with education. Let's see how their experience shaped up with the learning management system. Mr. Iman, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed. And I want to express my gratitude and appreciation to His Excellency Abdullah Al-Rabesh, President of Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University, and to Dr. Ahmed Al-Kuwaiti, the Supervisor General of Quality of Medical Education and Healthcare, to give me the opportunity today to share with you the RCQE experience and in science and education. On behalf of me and of Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Mudaris, the Regional Director of RCQE, I want to express my greetings to all of you and the audience, the participants, and I hope you find my presentation today useful and interesting. Let me share with you my presentation. I want to make sure that it's appear in the screen. This presentation will give you an overview about the role of regional center in enhancing quality and education and excellence in education. The presentation will highlight the following points about RCQE, the accomplished projects, running projects, capacity building, the projects that RCQE handled to respond to COVID-19. RCQE, in brief, it is a Category 1 center under the auspice of the UNESCO, and it is a significant initiative by the government of Saudi Arabia, represented by the Ministry of Education, effectively in spread excellence and quality in education. And RCQE is considered the first center in the world that specializes in quality and education, and it is under the auspice of the UNESCO. RCQE vision. RCQE vision, it is to be the reference center in promoting quality and excellence in education in the Arab region. And the mission and the strategic objectives is to promote...
Dr. Ayman, can you have a full screen, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry. Is it clear now?
No, it's still, it's not full screen.
Okay.
Yeah, no, same. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. Okay. That's fine. Go ahead. Sure.
So RCQE mission and strategic objective is to promote quality and excellence in education across the Arab region through focusing on research, capacity building, consulting, and fund management. RCQE mandates are based on key Saudi Arabia UNESCO agreement provisions that focus and promote education quality, develop research program, or provide a diversity service, and develop capacity building program. Our strategy plan has two terms, inequality and excellence. And the quality has three main areas, which is quality educator that focus in teacher education, teacher profession, teacher training program. The second area is a quality curriculum that focus in global citizenship, social responsibility, and knowledge economy. The third area, governments that focus on development of a strategy approach, education system management, and quality measurement. The second priority is excellence that focus in the area of excellence, acknowledging policies. RCQE surface geographical scope is to cover all the Arab country, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the hosting country. As I mentioned, one of RCQE mandate to develop high quality research and studies. So during the past five years, we accomplished around 25 projects, and I will give you in the following slides a highlight of the some of the main studies. We had a project in integrating global citizenship concept into from KG to 12 education curricula, and the outcomes of this project, it was a report on the state of integrating global citizenship concept curricula in the Arab countries. Also, we implemented a project in the stats report in education in crisis times according SDG 4 Agenda 230. And this project, the purpose of this project is to share experience and information between planning and national reporting officials in the Arab countries. Also, we had a project in teacher in service and professional development training program policies. The outcomes of this project delivered an analysis study on the state of training and professional development policies and programs in some Arab countries, a proposal for development of training and professional development policies and programs in some Arab countries according to the best practice, the significant best practices. Also, we have a project in raising enrollment rates in kindergarten programs in the Arab world. And the main focus of this project is to deliver a report in the state of kindergarten enrollment rates in the Arab world. Also, the best practices, international and globally, to deliver a policies and mechanism based on the best international practice. Also, we implemented a project in teacher policies in the Arab education system, and this project addressed the mechanism of proper teacher empowerment, training, and qualifying, and highlighting the importance of ensuring providing them with the necessary and active and support with an effectively managed education system. And it delivers an analysis study of the state of teacher policies in some Arab countries, teacher standard, lessons, and a framework to develop teacher policies in the Arab countries in the line of the best practices internationally. Also, we did a project in non-governmental sector in the achieving education quality. The outcomes of this project is a report in the state of non-governmental sector contribution to achieve general and higher education quality in some countries. Always also to enhance how to improve the quality of non-governmental sector contribution to the general and higher education. Also, we developed a review study on middle and secondary from grade 7 to 12 teacher education program, and the outcomes of this study came out with analysis study on the state of requirement from grade 6 to 12. Also, we proposed a model and framework to improving from grade 7 to 12 teacher education program in the Arab countries according to the best relevant global practice. Also, we work in education system and policy in the Arab countries, and this project aims to conducting a comparative study on several education systems, including policies in Arab countries. The report mainly focuses on the level stage of education, school year, and school day length. Also, we had projects in developing science and math teaching and learning program in the Arab countries. This project handled a report, analysis study and report in the state of science and math teaching and learning in some Arab countries. Also, a proposed framework to improving science and math teaching program based on the best international best practices. As our goals and our mandate is focusing in school accreditation, we have a review school accreditation system in Arab countries and explore development and improvement opportunities outcomes. This project had a study of the state of school accreditation system in the Arab countries, a proposal of the most suitable school accreditation system for the Arab countries in the light of the best relevant global best practices. Also, we implemented a project in regional guidelines of specialization standards and professional competencies. This project examined teacher professional license in Arab countries, and it gives a professional license in light of the best global practices and experience, and also a workshop to discuss this framework. Teacher education and qualification program system in Arab countries. This project, the main focus is to deliver a discuss route able on the proposed framework that proposed Arab framework and the development of teacher education program in the Arab world based on the relevant global practice systems. Moving on to the running project, we focus in 6 areas in our running project, such as academic accreditation of teacher education programs in the Arab countries, curriculum development, policies and system from KG to 12 education in the Arab countries, evaluation of teaching program, quality and excellence, supportive policies in the decision maker process among KG to 12 education leaders in the Arab countries, a successful Arab experience in the teacher quality, a case study, and I will give you a short brief about this project because it focuses on the response of COVID-19. Also, the last running project is the integration of 20th century skills into KG to 12 education curriculum. As I mentioned, we have running project, a successful Arab experience in teacher quality, a case study, and this project is the aim of this purpose of this project is inform a decision maker and educators with successful experience in the Arab world that drive them from local culture. In addition to share experience and lesson learned with regard to teacher performance during COVID-19 crisis. The outcomes that will be considered from this project, a description of selected successful experience, its feature and excellence justification, including evidence of successful for learning, best practice global-wide relevant to the selective experience, a case study on the selected successful experience using scientific approach and scientific research tools. Also, it will provide the Arab countries a lesson learned in the light of the best global practice for improving education practice in the topic of experience, especially in the regard of COVID-19. As I mentioned, one of our goal mandates is to develop a capacity building program initiative in education program towards quality and excellence. And we had 2 training program that focus in enhancing quality in education. The first training program that implemented by RCQE PMP preparation training program for UNESCO Office Center staff in the Arab region, We did this project with collaboration with the UNESCO office that originally in Beirut, and the purpose of this program is to enhance beneficiaries' experience, knowledge, and skills, and to enable them to obtain the project management professional (PMP) certification and highlight their qualification. The second training program, a program that we implemented, is educational educators training workshop for the Arab Ministry of Education officials. And this training programs focuses on building and measuring educational indicators. It delivered by international expert and designing the training program to deliver through series of workshop training to the Ministry of Education Planning and Policies Analysis staff, both nationally and regionally. As part of knowledge dissemination, facilitating experience sharing, we organized workshops and seminars in quality and excellence. And I will give you some example of our workshop in raising enrollment rates in the kindergarten progress in the Arab board, and this workshop was focused in the governmental and national efforts to raise enrollment rates in kindergartens. Also, we had a workshop in middle and secondary teacher education program in the Arab world. The highlights of this workshop is to deliver the start of grade 7 to 12 teacher education program in some Arab countries, review some of the international teacher education programs. Also, we had a workshop and a conference about integration global citizenship into KG to 12 curricula in the Arab world, and it was last January, and we had a Riyadh declaration that you can find it in our website, showed you about what is the recommendation and outcomes from this workshop. Based on RCQA strategy and mandates, we provide number of countries with technical consultation, practical ideas, and best practices related to quality teaching and learning, and such as services that focus in e-learning. We did a review on a study about distant learning education in Saudi Arabia during COVID-19 pandemic. Also, we review an evaluation of AIN National Education Portal. As of 25 of March, 165 countries have closed all their schools because of the virus of COVID-19 virus, affecting nearly 1.5 billion students and 63 million primary and secondary school teachers closed their school. The RCQA implemented and invited decision maker, education providers, the private and public sector to recognize the critical roles that play in the COVID-19 response and recovery. In particular, RCQA organized effective workshop regard to the COVID-19, and one of them is non-governmental sector in role achieving education quality in the Arab world. And the main objectives of the workshop is to enhance the role of non-governmental sector in supporting education quality and promoting education outcomes. Showcases of national, regional, and international experience and the initiative of non-governmental sector contribution to support education quality. Also, we organized the international workshop in learning quality, a productive lifelong value world quality day. And the main objectives contribute and achieved of the Sustainable Development Goals 230, particularly SDG 4, expand and enhance dialogue among thinkers, education, decision maker, and educators regard to the importance of learning quality as productive and sustainable value. Also, we implemented the regional workshop in quality assurance of distinct learning requirements, challenging and aspiration. And the main objective of this workshop is to to promote discussion and cooperation in the Arab region level to support education response to COVID-19 crisis, support the effort to the education system in the Arab region to achieve SDG 4, also to identify lessons learned from successful experience in decision learning field to overcome the challenging in the field education system regard to the to COVID-19. Also, teacher policies in Arab countries, realities and aspiration policies dialogue webinar. We had a collaboration and partnership with RECEP, UNESCO, and UNESCO Beirut and APEX office, a policy dialogue workshop on teacher policies in Arab countries, realities and aspiration. It was in October 2020, and the highlights of this dialogue is to links between teacher policies and enhancing the quality of education, sharing, promoting teacher policies and practice from regional and international perspective, drawing recommendation on enhancing the alternative and the quality of teaching profession through the meaningful profession development licensing procedure. Also, we did a webinar in teacher policy in Arab countries, realities and aspiration policies dialogue that focus in the global regional century policy initiative, and it delivered a recommendation that discuss different response to COVID-19. RCQA is a co-chair of the steering committee of the International Task Force on Teacher for Education 2030. With this content, several efforts has been experted, especially in this response of COVID-19 pandemic consequences. We did a translation of Arabic version teacher policy development guide, also response to COVID-19 outbreak call for action teachers on innovative school response to COVID-19 contest. For RCQA future vision, we consider to do a project in two main topics. The first topic is learning loss from KG to 12 education during COVID-19 pandemic in the Arab countries. This project is an organized scientific response from RCQA to propose the framework, an effective approach and practice for learning loss identification, also to provide a measurement and recovery in the light of the best global expertise and practice. And this project is intended to support Arab countries to deliver them achieve the SDG 4 target, particularly 4.1 and 4.6. The second project will be in learning loss in KG, KG2, and the second project will be in quality distance learning practice and policies in from KG to 12 education in the Arab countries. And this project, an organized scientific response by RCQA to examine the state of the quality of the practice, policies, and application of distance learning, and to provide a framework to improve the practice, policies, application in the light of the blessed global practice trade. And by the end of this project, I done my presentation. I hope it is useful for you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Iman. I really have some knowledge about the Regional Center of Equality and Excellence Education, which is under UNESCO, which is, it's the first time for me to know it, and definitely our audience, they have the same. Especially, I was really focusing in the e-learning, especially when we have this COVID-19 is still going on, and what's the effort has been done internationally and nationally. I see your focus about RCQA, which is under auspices in the UNESCO. Also, your focus and specializing on issues of equality and excellence in education. It's a strategic plan of RCQA is very promising, really, to solve a lot of problems within the School of Education. specifically focus on providing high quality research, which is really neat, and to provide teacher and service and the professional development training program and policies. Also implement teacher policies in Arab education system. And I think also to have this, how to be affected in our Saudi system, a support of non-government sector in achieving education quality of help, middle and secondary 7 to 12 teacher education program. I see you focus on some programs for the development of science and math, and also some program in school accreditation system, which is what we are concerned about here in our webinar. You mentioned about the implementation of project management professional. You mentioned conducting workshop during COVID-19, supporting educational quality and the outcomes. And I wish it also to be continued, especially within the e-learning system, especially within the hybrid system, what we have coming on, according to Dr. Ali mentioned. Also, you conclude the workshop during the COVID in supporting educational quality and outcome, conducted international workshop, and reality aspiration policy, which is, I really struck me when I see you are mentioning in the future plan, learning loss in K-12 education during COVID-19. I think this is very important project, in fact, a very promising project. Quality of distance learning practices, also you touch it in bases. I think it's the time now to our audience. We have really plenty of questions. I want to go through it one by one, and we have, I think, almost 20 minutes. We can have really questions to Dr. Ali Hamdan. Dr. Ali, if you allow me to ask you this question, please, how to ensure the credibility of the virtual learning offered through e-learning mode from your experience?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ahmed. There's no clear answer, to assure the credibility through on-learning. As I mentioned earlier, it's really depend on the delivery, the lecturer and the students, the interaction, the assurance of assignments, the interaction between the participation of how friendly is the tools that are used. Then you can have a conclusion of the answer that you are asked. Yeah.
Well, also there is a following question here. The audience, they send it for more than, they ask the same, Dr. Ali, what are the challenges facing leadership in securing accreditation for the program offered through e-learning mode from your experience?
Well, it is one of the main standard that we look at when we do visit institution for their institutional assessment, which is the IT side, the e-learning side, and the delivery and tools who are looking after, and many issues, to assure that e-learning is really as effective as possible. There is still a need for a leadership support, and if we can say, those who are looking for the IT and for e-learning nowadays in universities and colleges should link directly to a senior management in university and colleges to make sure that it's all updated and it's all relevant to, and many issues, as I mentioned in the session, that development, staff development, course design development, update IT, and learn also from others. It's very important that we look at the colleges and universities who are success, even locally, regionally, and internationally.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. There is a question to Dr. Iman. Dr. Iman, one of the audience asking how PMP can be implemented to improve the quality of the school education And if you can mention the learning management system, the role as well. Dr. Iman, are you with us?
Can you repeat the question, please, Dr. Ahmed?
The question of the audience: how PMP can implement it to improve the quality of the school education, okay? And how you relate the learning management system now to the school?
You mean PMP, right?
Yes.
Yes, the program that, the training program that we provide was focused and provide to a specific audience, which is the UNESCO staff. So the main focus is not in the schooling program, in giving them enhanced experience and knowledge and skills to enable them to obtain the project management professional that focus in general in project.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I have a question here from Dr. Omar Agha. He is appreciating the presentation of Dr. Ali. However, in engineering colleges, we face a challenge arises from laboratory experiment utilization skills and the practical workshop that cannot be addressed by ICT alone. From your experience, how to overcome and document this issue?
Well, this is a good question, and I have my son who's doing electrical engineering in US, and they are facing the same difficulty where they cannot attend labs. But from my own point of view, that nowadays, you can visualize what is going on in the lab. Yes, you need to do yourself to learn the skills using your hands and tools and etc. But at the moment, we're just waiting, for the COVID and then I think a makeup classes where enough knowledge of the skills through e-learning and to visualize what is really going on in the lab, that might help. But as a definite answer, I cannot say or guarantee learning a technical skills outside the lab is as in the lab.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ali. There is a question for Dr. Iman. From your knowledge, is there a model for quality assurance and distance education for schools that's approved by a trusted authority? Is there any involvement for UNESCO in this?
Because of our scope of work is enhancing quality and excellence education. I believe there is an organization that focus in providing this model, but for our scope, it's a part of our project to provide the Arab countries with a project that improve and develop learners how to be interact with e-learning, especially with the COVID-19.
Okay, well, there is a question also to Dr. Ali here. How can Dr. Ali we transfer the technical skills? This is Dr. Muhammad Shuaib asking about the transfer technical skills in case of medicine, dentistry, engineering, and agriculture through the online learning.
Well, it is just the same answer I answered earlier. When it's come to technical skills, especially for the science side, it is difficult to give a definite answer that students will learn effectively through online learning. Online learning is a help for a student, not in the science side. Yes, I think university will do their best to visualize the required technical skills. But if we're looking for the engineering side, I think if the student is far away from the universities and can learn through online learning some of the skills, and allowed practically to go to hospitals and to companies and apply those skills, and also come up with the feedback, and could be also some innovative, related skills again back to their schools. I think that is a way to learn more technical skills.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Dr. Iman, there is a question. Do you have a plan to upgrade K-12 curriculum in KSA and the Arab countries? I believe higher education in the kingdom is fairly advanced, but the problem is with the school education. This is from Dr. Muhammad Shuaib. This is a long question, long answer. Go ahead, Dr. Iman.
Yes, in our future projects, we will be working in develop a project in higher education for sure.
Okay, Dr. Ali, I have a question from Mr. or Dr. Amr Ahmed Amin. And what is the best method for assessing a student, especially in first-year student, to achieve reliability of assessing using e-learning?
Well, from what I heard from my colleague, there is no one best way to assess students. I think now they are trying to avoid multiple choice questions. They are more toward assignments, and maybe a presentation of student of the assignment to make sure that is, they got the learning results that is required. But to assure you there is one best method, from my experience, modesty, no, I cannot say there is one best method. We are learning through having e-learning, a year back. We cannot say there is. We can also, come up maybe at the end of this year, by using different method of assessment, we can come up and say, okay, this is a reliable method which we can depend on.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Ali. Yes, you're right. Dr. Iman, there is a question about what absolutely must learners know in order to meet the performance requirement. I think this is very big a question.
Yes, I think, and there is any specific, when we speak about performance requirements, it's a huge topic. So if the main focus in education or in e-learning, so you need to exactly identify the performance that you need to improve. So you can from that apply the requirements.
Yes, there is a technical question here to Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali, how to ensure the trustworthiness of an assessment type used in online exam? How we can overcome and rectify cheating in online assessment?
I think, to be frankly, there is no definite answer here. Because, like for example, take an example of students who came from the state or from Europe. Now they have exams, and there is a difference in timing. So some of the students, they really exchange ideas here and there. So you cannot, but again, we go back to what is the approach, or what is the aim of university of delivering knowledge and to students. We need them to learn and to understand. When it's come to assessment, we need also to think about, how in our best ability, and also to learn from other universities who are years and years ahead of us, how to make sure the assessment, there is no cheating. You cannot say there is no cheating. I could say, yes, there is some cheating, maybe here and there. And we always create an awareness on our, relative that, you should be careful, because you are not aiming to have a certificate. You are aiming to have a knowledge and to learn skills. But there's no answer unless there, you know, you maybe Dr. Ahmed can, you know, have sort of help on this area.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of examples, Dr. Ali. And one of them, there is a question from Faisal Al-Qurashi. He asking about, from the experience, if there is some promising example to what has been done in the field of e-learning for medical students that meet both practical and efficiency. I think this is another question you need to include it in your, if you have any idea how, if there is any learning in the field of field of medicine, like the field of engineering. I think all the fields we are facing, they have their own integrity of dealing with the e-learning system, especially in content-wise.
Yes, I do agree. I do agree with you. And to be honest, I have no answer to this question, you know, from my experience, you know.
Sure. There is a question to Dr. Iman, which is, I think it's the last one here. Dr. Iman, they ask the audience asking about how we can measure the quality school education exclusively located in Arab countries.
Basically, our role to focus in enhancing.
I think you need to give them some details about it, Doctor, more than a question about the same topic.
Yes, our role is to focus in enhancing quality in education at the macro level, policy levels. So in our project, we identify the Ministry of Education and the Arab countries depend of their needs, because Arab countries different in the level of education from countries to countries. So when we implemented our project, we focus in the need of the countries, and we selected them based on their need, and we give them best practice international.
Thank you, Dr. Ayman. Dr. Ali, I have a last question for you. I mean, and the audience is keeping writing about how we can ensure the safety of the students during the online teaching and learning. I think Dr. Ali can answer it, and also Dr. Iman, if you can share with us with this. Dr. Ali first.
Well, to ensure their safety is to assure that we have, you know, a good faculty, you know, and good university, accredited university, and also monitor their performance regularly. Don't leave the student to the end of the term and then evaluate their learning outcome. No, do it regularly. Make sure that faculty are well trained, well developed, and also you know, having a friendly software for e-learning and a backup, so student has no excuse of not learn or not to learn.
Dr. Ayman, you have any thought about it?
Yes, I agreed about what Dr. Ali said. So throwing that to the educator itself without collaboration with the institution and the companies that specialize in providing technical and information systems. So they need to work together to measure and assist the students through give them a professional platform that provide them with the service that is not throwing a pressure on them. So it can assist them and give the quality of learning.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Thank you, Dr. Iman. I think this is the end of our journey for the question and answer. We will just gonna leave it and go with the final thoughts. Dr. Ali, you have 2 minutes to give us final thoughts, and same for Dr. Iman Al-Dif.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed, and thanks also to the audience who share their thoughts also through the question, which really need some research to look at, you know, learning management system and e-learning. It's it is there. We have to accept it, either to move back to normal classrooms. University, I think they will not leave this experience. They invest on e-learning. I think some of them, as I mentioned earlier, make some good profit. Maybe some students approach differently, and now they may move to e-learning instead of going to schools, to save some expenses here and there. And once the certificate is assured and accepted by the authority in different countries, with equalify the two certificates, either attending or learning through airline. Companies also accept both certificates. I think there will be a change in strategies. Another thing is, as we said earlier, leadership support is needed. Upgrading of e-learning tools is required. Staff development is important for both. Orientation for families and for the student is very important. And also we learn from each other. This is very important. Let's learn from each other in the Gulf countries. I'm sure there are a successful university in each country, and we should also create sort of a competition maybe among Gulf countries, Gulf university, those who are success in their e-learning exercises or during this COVID-19. No doubt that in the West or in America, there are many universities who are, having experience in and delivering courses, high-level courses, master and training in e-learning. We should also approach them collectively and learn from them, and also have our own platform. We need to have, to work on our, tools and to move on forward in the future for e-learning. That's from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Dr. Iman Adib, go ahead.
My perspective about e-learning, distance learning, or online learning, it was in the past alternative learning, but now it's the fact it's a must learning, and it is the option that we have. So all the countries, they have their own strategy to improve the learning. So we need to work together, stakeholders, whether regionally, locally, or internationally, to increase the role of the e-learning and train the teachers, train the students, train the parents, all the stakeholders. We wanted to work together to know the fact that the e-learning, it is, I think in my perspective, it is the future learning for the coming 5 years. So we need to increase the role of knowing the knowledge and increasing the skills about the e-learning, educate our students, educate our teachers, stakeholders. In the beginning, they need to understand that they need to involve all the institutions that they are specialized in information system learning. And thank you so much for you, Dr. Ahmed and Dr. Ali, and for the audience to have me today, and let me share my experience about the RCQE role.
Thank you so much, Ms. Iman Al-Thib. Thank you so much, Dr. Ali Al-Balushi. We really enjoy the learning today, and we are keep learning, and we keep really enjoy the information. And I see the comments from the audience to thank you for the informative information that you've been presented for them today. On behalf of Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University family, and on behalf of His Excellency Professor Abdullah Al-Rubaysh, and for me personally, thank you so much, Dr. Ali Al-Balushi. Thank you so much to Ms. Iman Al-Thib, and to the UNESCO, and to Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Badiris, our colleagues. He's the one running the project and keen to share with us all the way. My final thought, keep learning. The future of e-learning is going on. COVID-19 is still going on, but the e-learning, it will continue and will continue. See you all in our next webinar. It will be in March 15, 2021. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Iman. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Ali. Thank you.
Thank you.
مع السلامة. شكرا.
مع السلامة. شكرا.